first graders. It's Mrs. Holly again. And the book that we're reading today is called Jubal's Wish. And it is by the new author that we are studying, Audrey Wood. And her husband again is doing the pictures, Don Wood. The first thing I notice about this story is the bright colors. He really chose some bright colors. Remember the last story we read was about the king in the bathtub. Colors weren't so bright, but it kind of had to do with the day as well. They were back in castle days. He has a lot of intricate detail. This one's a little bit different. Has bright colors, flowers, bigger things than the smaller details, but still great pictures. And we always use the pictures to help us make meaning out of the stories. So do that as you're watching the pictures today. And let's see what Audrey Wood has in store for us. Last time she took an everyday occurrence of taking a bath and used her imagination to create quite a story. Let's see if she's using her imagination with this book as well. It's called Jubal's Wish. And Jubal is this frog right here. He's really looking up very attentive at us, ready for us to read him. Let's go. Jubal's Wish by Audrey Wood. He's got a picnic there. Once, upon a bright and sunny day, Jubal Bullfrog skipped down the flower path. He was so happy. His feet barely touched the ground. Definitely a happy face. Before long, he came to the cottage of Gertie Toad and her 7 toadlets. Whackety-whack! Gertie was outside beating a dirty old rug with her broom. A happy sunny day to you, dear friend, Jubal exclaimed. What's so happy about it? Gertie snapped. The toadlets are into everything, and my house is a mess. For all I care, it could be raining. But I have a picnic to share, Jubal said, holding up his basket. Picnic? I don't have time for that, Gertie grumped. Work, 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 that's all I ever do. Gertie Toad heaved the rug over her shoulder and stomped into her cottage. Jubal looked up. Oh, I remember that picture from the front cover. The sky was blue, the birds were singing in the trees. A splendid feeling of wonder moved up from his toes to the tip of his nose. Grasping his basket, Jubal skipped on, whistling a happy tune. Down by the river, Jubal found Captain Dalbert Blizzard lounging in the shade of his sailboat, the Molly Bee. A happy sunny day to you, dear friend, Jubal called. The lizard opened one eye and sighed. My happy days are over, he said. Once I was a great captain, bound for adventure with a fine crew. But now no one wants to sail in an old boat with an old captain. I know just what you need, Jubal said, holding his basket. A picnic always makes everything better. Sorry, Jubal, Captain Dalbert said, as he slowly climbed the ladder to his cabin. I'm not in the mood. For a moment, Jubal thought, maybe I should be unhappy too. But the fresh grass and the sweet flowers smelled so good. Jubal plucked down underneath the daisy and took a deep breath. Here he is. He leaned back, closed his eyes, and said, I wish there was something I could do to make my friends as happy as I am on this glorious day. A butterfly came dancing over his head and landed on the daisy. Then something wondrous happened. And first graders, I bet you can already see it. Look at the outline in the picture. Donwood did such a wonderful job at making This picture looked magical. A giant hand reached down and scooped Jubal high into the air. "Do you need a wish?" a wizard asked the startled bullfrog. Reaching into his pocket, the wizard brought out a small, twinkling star. "It's a wish," he said, "and it's yours, if you want it." "A wish?" Jubal exclaimed. "Do they really come true?" "Dreams and wishes, wishes and dreams," the wizard said with a wink. "Sometimes they work, and sometimes they don't. You never know how they'll turn out in the end." The bullfrog took the twinkling star and held it next to his heart. "I wish Gertie Toad's housework was done, and her toadlets were well behaved, and Captain Dalbert had his adventures back. That's my wish." What a great wish for him to make, for his friends to be happy. And check out the picture again. See his nose right here, the wizard, his little mustache, and he's sprinkling dust on the little frog. What a great picture. Jubal opened his eyes. He was back beneath the daisy, the wizard was gone, and the twinkling wish had disappeared. Racing over to the Molly Bee, he hurried up the ladder. "Captain, Captain," he called, knocking on the cabin door. "Are you happy now?" The door slowly opened, and Captain Dalbert squinted out at the bullfrog. "Oh, Jubal," he groaned, "I bumped my head, stubbed my toe, and burned my biscuits. Someone must have put a curse on me. Go away and leave an old salt to his troubles." Oh my. As Jubal walked back up the path, a dark cloud gathered in the sky, hiding the sun. When the bullfrog passed Gertie Toad's cottage, he heard her inside yelling, "Stop squabbling! What a mess! Pick up your toys!" Thunder boomed. Lightning flashed. Oh, look at the difference between this bright colored page and dark. And so his heart is dark too, sad. The illustrator's helping us feel those feelings. Before long, Jubal came to a large toadstool. He climbed up and sat down to think. "My wish didn't work. That wizard tricked me. Captain Dalbert and Gertie are more miserable than ever. And what has happened to my happy sunny day?" A tear trickled down his cheek just as the first drop of rain plopped onto his nose. Jubal sobbed, and the rain poured down. The rain made deep puddles. The puddles ran together and formed a stream, and the stream grew wider and soon became a rushing river. Jubal didn't notice what was happening until the icy water washed over his toes. "Oh dear," he cried, "it's a flood. I'll be swept away." Great waves rolled toward the bullfrog. "Help! Somebody save me!" he shouted. "I'm stranded." A faint voice called in the distance, "Jubal, where are you?" "I'm over here," he yelled, trying to see through the blinding rain. A struggling sailboat bobbed into view. There it is. "Hang on, Jubal," an anxious voice called. "We're almost there." The sailboat fought its way through the storm until it struck the toadstool with a bump. Gertie and her toadlets pulled Jubal from the stormy water just in time. Oh, look at his face. Oh, and here's the captain. "Welcome aboard, matey!" Captain Dauber shouted as he slapped his friend on the back. "What a day, hey? I hadn't seen this much action since the typhoon of '49. Good work, Toadlets. You're a fine crew." "Aye, aye, Captain," the Toadlets agreed. "Oh, Jubal, I'm so glad you're safe," Gertie Toad said, hugging him. "It's a miracle. Our cottage floated away, and Captain Dalbert rescued us all." "Gracious!" Jubal exclaimed. "What will you do now?" "I know what to do," the captain said. "We'll go on a grand adventure. The Toadlets will be my crew, and Gertie will make a fine first mate." "Well, if you're needing a cook," Jubal said, holding up his picnic basket, "our first meal is ready to serve." "Let's eat," Captain Dalbert explained. Just then the sun appeared in the sky, making a rainbow over the water. "It's like a dream or a wish come true," Gertie said. "Dreams and wishes, wishes and dreams," Jubal said with a wink. "Sometimes they work and sometimes they don't. You never know how they'll turn out in the end." We heard that part before, didn't we? That's what the wizard had said. Over here, do you need a wish? You never know how they're going to turn out. Did they get their wish in the end? Yeah, they did. He wanted his friends to be happy, and they were. They were happy in the end. They had everything they needed. Was it the way that they expected it to turn out? No, it wasn't. But they were still had everything they need at the end, and their wishes were granted. What a great story. It's full of great juicy details. And as the story goes through, you start out with your characters. It builds, and then there's this big storm, and then he's saved, and they all realize that they are happy with the way things turned out and their wishes did come true. That is so perfect of a story, following everything that a good story needs. Good characters, a great setting, and a plot that keeps you into it until the very top and then concludes it with a nice at the end where everyone's satisfied. She did a good job with this story. Think about it when you're writing your stories, that you need to have great characters and that good pictures help tell the stories. And that as you go through your book, problems keep happening, things keep happening. And when the end comes, it all is solved and everybody is satisfied at the end. That's a good storyline. It's called a plot. We'll be talking more about that as we get into stories and as we write our own stories. If you would like to start by writing your own story, see if you could model one after something that you may wish for. And maybe it didn't turn out quite like you wanted it, or maybe it did. You can write that. Till next time, first graders.